The 12 Dancing Princesses.
Nani, could you tell me one story?
Yes, of course, Mia. I'll tell you the story of 12 dancing princesses.
12 dancing princesses? That sounds interesting. Please tell us, Granny.
Okay, listen carefully. Long, long ago, there lived a king who had 12 beautiful daughters. The princesses were not only well-bred, kind and charming, but they were intelligent and smart. The king loved them and took great care of them. He would not let them go anywhere, fearing some harm may befall on them. Princesses shared one large room in the palace. They had similar beds all kept in a row in one big room. The princess's bed was spread with lovely mattresses, bed sheets, blankets, but they hardly slept on these beds at night. Every night when the princesses went to bed, the king would close the door and lock it up after bidding them good night. There was only one key for the lock, and the king never let it out of his pocket. Yet, every morning their shoes were found worn out as though they had been dancing all night. The king was very anxious to know as to how it was that princesses wore out their shoes night after night. So he decided to investigate. The king made an announcement. Anyone who could discover the princess's secret within 3 days and 3 nights would get to marry one of them, and he would also become the next king. One day, a wise trader too heard about the announcement and decided to try his luck. He was a dreamer who would always dream of bright palaces and beautiful princesses. But at the same time, he was a strong, handsome young man who was very wise and sharp. On his way to the palace, he met an old woman who was trying to gather her cows.
"May I help you?"
he asked.
"I know a thing or two about cows."
Would you?
She asked humbly. The trader gathered all the cows and helped the old woman in herding them towards her cottage. Once the cows were safely behind the fence, the woman was grateful and asked the trader,
Where are you going, son?
"I'm going to the palace to find out where the princesses go every night," the trader replied honestly.
Well, it's not an easy task. Many tried to discover the secret of the dancing princesses, but failed,
said the old woman.
Since you are determined to do this task, I want to help you, my son. Remember, do not drink what the princesses may offer you in the evening. Try not to sleep all night, but only pretend to do so,
said the old woman. She then gave the trader a magic armor and said,
This will make you invisible. and help you in your quest."
"Thank you so much," said the trader, and went towards the king's palace. The trader reached the palace and volunteered to do the task that was being announced by the king. The king welcomed him and said,
You have arrived at just the right moment, and hope you will succeed.
During evening, he was taken to a room which was adjacent to the princess's room. After some time, the eldest princess entered the room with a glass of drink and said,
You look very tired. This drink will help you sleep better.
Oh, thank you,
said the trader, after taking the glass from her. But the trader remembered the old woman's instructions and secretly threw it away and pretended to fall asleep. The princess told her sisters,
Hey, my dear sisters, everything is clear. But I feel something very uneasy, as if something bad is going to happen,
said the little princess.
Come on, don't be afraid. Everything is fine,
said the eldest princess.
Many tried to find out our secret, but failed. Like others, this trader too will never be able to find out. He fell deep asleep after having the drink. Let's wear our finest gowns and proceed for the dance.
Soon the princesses left. The trader quickly got up and wore his magic armor and followed them. The princesses stood near one of their beds and clapped. Immediately the bed sank into the floor and revealed a secret passage. One after the other, the 12 princesses entered the secret passage. The invisible trader quietly followed them. Soon they reached a lovely forest where the trees bore shimmery fruits and leaves of gold. The young trader broke off a gold leaf with a loud crack.
I should show this to King as a proof,
said he. The youngest princess heard the sound and cried,
Hey, someone is following us.
Come on, it's just a rabbit, said the other princess. After walking a considerable distance, they came to a great lake where there were 12 boats on the shore, and in each boat sat a handsome prince. Each princess went with a prince in a boat. The trader went with the youngest princess. On the other side of the lake stood a beautiful castle. The princess and the princess went into the castle. The trader followed them, and soon they were in a ballroom. Each prince danced with a princess, and the soldier stood near the corner, watching them dance with joy. By dawn, the princess's shoes were worn out completely, and they returned to their room. The trader was fast enough to outrun them and reached his room first. He lay down on his bed and started snoring loudly as if in deep sleep.
Poor
trader doesn't know that we had gone to the secret castle. Ha 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 ha. We are safe. Nobody knows our secret, said the eldest princess. After the 3 days and 3 nights had passed, the king asked the soldier,
Did you find the secret as to where do the princesses go?
The soldier took the deep breath and told the king everything about the secret castle and the 12 princes.
I don't believe you,
Said the king.
Your Majesty, I have brought some things to show you, which I collected while following the princesses through the secret forest.
The trader showed him the golden leaves and flowers that he had plucked from the trees. The king was amazed to see the golden leaves and flowers and immediately called his daughters. Princesses had no option but to confess everything. King rewarded the trader and offered him the ministerial post in the court. The youngest princess was quite impressed by the trader's wit and wisdom and showed interest in marrying him. So, they got married and lived happily ever after.